All I got is me, fire up a beat. I can't take another L by the A, not the C. Black, that's just who I am. Black, that's my favorite color. Black, get the misconception. 9/10 is still possession. All I got is me, fire up a beat. I can't take another L by the A, not the C. Black, that's just who I am. Black, that's my favorite color. Black, get the misconception. 9/10 is still possession. I just wanna be free. Fuck the color, what you see. You don't wanna be me or the N-I-double-G. Why do you think this life is cool? Listen, I done see more black and white than Dion with the Buffaloes. You sure, man? I'm so sure. And I can't forget my browns, the natives and the Mexicans. We all share the same struggle. Got our people dying every day, trying to make it home. If everyone's the bad guy, then what's the cop that breaks the law? These politics is fucked up. That's why I don't try to vote. Watch the slack that's in the rope. I promise you might hang yourself, and then you got the color purple. This is not a movie though. It's real life, a real fight. You Jake Paul, you tripping, bro. The same shit they telling me, I gotta beat me. Fuck the world, fuck these haters, fuck these bitches, not the women. I'ma keep these wheels turning, I don't stop, man, I gotta go. I can see through you and your bones, nigga, domino.
You know, get into that part of my YouTube thing, man, where I share a little bit more of my personal life, as well as my previous work experiences, whatnot. You know, so we get ready to get into that, right? But before I get into that, man, I just want to say again, thanks to everybody, man, that's been watching me and following me, whether it's my story or you know, it's me going out because I'm outside, or it's me going out and you know, catching up with people on the go and getting y'all familiar with you know, just random people, man, and letting you guys know that we all share something in common, even if it's just that one thing, right? So you know, again, I want to thank you all, DBD Fitness, you know, Ilms, and DJ Larry Loud. These are all shout outs to people that I know that's right here in the city with me in Albuquerque, man, that's been following me and supporting me, man. And that's what it's all about, man, is supporting each other, showing love, man. I got a few people, man, that's from the city, that's been following me, that ain't really been doing that. And we're gonna work that out one way or the other, you know. But definitely thank you all, you three people for sure. And then there's people that I ain't familiar with that's been following me and liking my stuff. And you guys know who you are, and I will definitely tag you guys, those people that have been doing that. I'll definitely tag you guys, man, back. And then other than that, man, you know, it's summertime, school getting ready to start up here, at least here in Albuquerque, is getting ready to start up here pretty quickly. And school, the month of August is pretty much that time of year where school is getting ready to start back up. So, you know, big shout out to everybody, and that's liking, that's new, whatever, man. Right here at Go Power, you know, my channel specifically is about just showing the love, and you know, showing that we all share something in common, man. No matter our race, no matter our gender, no matter our sexual preferences, no matter our creed and where we come from or whatnot, if you're not from the country, you know what I'm saying? So either which way, that's what Go Power is all about. Good, optimistic people oftentimes want everybody's reality. So getting back into this story of mine, 2016 story, man. When we last left off, man, I was letting you guys you know, hear that part of the story in 2016 when I decided to leave Illinois, and I decided to head out to San Diego, California, while I was on parole in Illinois and whatnot, and you know, just go out there for 3 months before it's time for me to check back in with my parole agent, and you know, just see what was out there for me in San Diego. So we're gonna get right to the story, right? Also, I want to say, before I get into the story, those of y'all that are watching me that's from Illinois or that's from the hometown of Dixon, you know what I mean, or in Rockford, and y'all watching me, and y'all ain't following me, I just want you to know, I know you watching me, right? don't be scared to hit that button, man, and subscribe, man, or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. You know what I mean? Like, you here, you might as well do that. But anyway, that's for y'all, man, the people that's watching back home and ain't hit that subscribe button. But anyway, let's get to the story, right? Okay, so I'm on the road. It's a 28-hour drive, man. It's a 28-hour drive. I'm on the road. 28-hour drive from Rockford, Illinois to San Diego. All right. Nowhere in the hell do I intend on making that 28-hour drive. That's with a little bit of stopping other than getting gas, man. I never intended to drive like that. You know, I want to take my time and enjoy the scenery and what I'm getting ready to get into and all that stuff there. Let alone I have a very, very complex mission on my hands where I know I'm not going to really have a roof over my head other than living in my car, doing the Planet Fitness thing, to take my shower or whatnot. And, you know, my plan is to get a job when I get out there, quickly, within 7 days. I'm pretty good at that job, pretty good at getting the job of my choice when I'm out here. And I do have everything right for me as far as a roof over my head and whatnot. So that's what my challenges are what I'm looking forward to as I'm, on my way there and when I get there. Okay. And so it's a 28-hour drive. I never intended to make the 28-hour drive, man. Right. So I'm on the phone. Like I told you, Nadia was on the phone. She stopped calling me eventually. And the only one that's calling me and hitting my line right now is Willis, man. Willis is calling me, checking on me and seeing how far I am in this trip, right? So I had already talked to him one time when I first took off. And then I'm going through Iowa. I made it through Nebraska, right? And right when you get towards the end of Nebraska, on your way into Colorado, and you slide down up in there into Colorado, they got this thing, man, where they call runaway hills. Right? Runaway hills, for those of y'all ain't familiar with that side of the map in Colorado, those runaway hills mean, hey, you know what I mean, caution for especially the semi drivers with heavy loads, and especially caution for anybody that's not familiar with these roads and stuff like that. I was driving in the summertime, but they still quite dangerous and stuff like that, and I was unaware of these runaway hills and stuff like that, and it was the nighttime when I was getting ready to break into this. So I'm on the phone with Willis, and it's like my third time talking to him when I'm actually headed towards that way. And Willis is on the phone, and he telling me, he like, hey, homie, you getting ready? Where you at? This is like the third time he talking to me. He like, where you at? I'm like, man, I'm towards the end of Nebraska right now, getting ready to get into Colorado. He like, listen, man, I got you a spot already, man. You know what I mean? Well, I just want you to slow down, homie, and get into a hotel, man, and just slow down, man, because them hills, them runaway hills, is something different. I know you're gonna get tired. I know how you is, you know what I mean? When you're driving at nighttime, you really not at your best and stuff like that, man. So I just want you to be safe. I don't want to see nothing happen to you driving through this part of your journey. You know what I'm saying? So he ended up getting me a little motel, right there, man, at the edge of Nebraska before I got into Colorado. And I gladly accepted, you know what I'm saying, because I was wore out. I was a little tired. I had driven through 2 states already. And I never intended, like I said, to make the 28-hour drive, man, where I was just pushing, So that was cool. The homie right there, he let me, he paid out his own pocket to get me safe and keep me safe and allow me to, just possibly reconsider this journey, And so I took that offer. I went and got me a good night rest and stuff like that. Got me a bite to eat at the little truck stop next to it or whatnot. And then, suited up and booted up and went back at it, man. Got to driving again, man. And my next stop further on down the road, and like I said, we was communicating here and there and letting each other know where we was at, And, at this point, he knew I was for real, because I was still going. I didn't decide to turn around. He knew I was still going that way, So my next stop, I ended up going to Vegas, right? And I got down up in Vegas, and I took another stop down there on my own, and I actually just pulled up at the Travel Plaza and parked in the parking lot there. There's a casino next to it or whatnot. somewhere down there in not Vegas necessarily, but it was in Nevada, and I pulled in somewhere down there and just parked in that parking lot, man. It got me a good night rest, and then woke up and paid for the shower in the shower room and took me a shower over there. And then, the conversations that next morning from there, so basically a 28-hour drive ended up turning into about 2.5 days. 2.5 days, man. You know what I'm saying? I had made a 2.5 day trip out of what was supposed to be a day trip, right? So by the time I got to the state of California and in Southern California, San Diego County and whatnot, Willis had asked me, he said, hey man, what part of San Diego you plan on, like trying to figure this shit out at, right? And I told him, I said, hey, listen, I'm gonna go to National City. National City is where I'm getting ready to go to. Now, the reason why I picked National City was like, I don't know, it was the only thing that I had heard of as far as San Diego goes. The whole Lincoln Park area, Mitchie Slick, just anything relevant to San Diego, and being somewhere where the culture was and whatnot. So I picked National City based off of all of that. I picked National City, and then so that wasn't a question no more. Willis knew that I was headed towards National City, National Boulevard, you know what I mean? Just the whole thing, man. Imperial, Euclid, all of that, man. I was getting ready to be all through that whole little area and figuring out things from National City. But, and again, I didn't have any plans to do a hotel right quick. I left with about $900 and some change. And by the time I got there, man, I had... I want to say, man, I had about close to 500. I had close to 500 left in my pocket, man, and I was just trying to make it work. Just trying to make it work, man. You know what I'm saying? So, so I had left. Like I had planned it to where Monday morning I was gonna get up and running and figuring out this whole job situation, right? So, I had left on like a Thursday. I think it was a Thursday, going into a Friday, and by the time I got to San Diego, National City or whatnot, it was Sunday, man. It was Sunday. It was Sunday afternoon. I just remember riding up National City Boulevard and just being like, man, I knew the water was right there nearby and whatnot and all that, riding past Mission Beach and all that, and it was just a beautiful scene, man. Remember I was in that, I was in my Bonneville that I had got from JD Byrider. It looked very clean. You couldn't even tell that I was an out of towner until you looked at the plates and you seen Illinois on the plate, man. You know what I'm saying? But that thing right there, man, was pretty clean, man. So I blended right in, other than the fact you get behind me, you see them Illinois plates, man. So, yeah, man, so I just kind of enjoyed the day. That Sunday got me something to eat. Actually, first spot I pulled up at before I got down there on National City Boulevard, I was towards Balboa Park in the museum and stuff over there like that. And I had stopped at the Balboa Bar. I stopped at the Balboa Bar, and you know what I'm saying, got me a Balboa burger. I got me a Balboa burger, and I called my brother. I remember calling my brother, and I told my little brother, I said, hey man, listen, I just want to tell you something. And he like, what? I'm like, man, remember, I never really told my family that I was getting ready to do this, man. This is just something that I wanted to do on my own. So I told my little brother, I said, hey man, listen, I told him the truth. I said, hey man, I just want you to know I'm in San Diego. He like, what? I'm like, I'm in San Diego. And, I'm just trying to figure some stuff out right now, man. You know what I mean? But I just wanted you to know where I'm at. And, you know what I mean? That way, if something happened or whatever, you know that I'm actually over here, right? So my little brother was like, okay, man, the weather nice and whatnot, and, you okay though, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. So I let my little brother know that I had got me something to eat Like I said, finished eating my Balboa burger and some fries, and then I just found me a good spot to park for the night, man. And I knew I had to get the wheels turning and figure out this plan to get this job and kind of just, you know, be able to make some money and figure out this land at the same time, right? So the following morning, I already did my homework. I already had my resume together and stuff like that there. I got me a good night's sleep in the car. Of course, I was sleeping in my car, just trying to save a little couple dollars that I had or whatnot. You know, give me something to eat, whatnot, whatever, and stuff like that. I never intended to be in the hotel. Never intended to be in a hotel. All right, at least not at this point, you know. So got me a good night rest, just kind of sleeping in my car, maneuvering through the city, finding a good spot to park, and slept in my car. It wasn't really a good night's sleep, but it was enough to, you know, like, you know, one eye up, one eye down, and just kind of, you know what I mean, figure it out from there. And so I did my homework, and I ended up finding a temp spot in Claremont Mesa. That's what it was, Claremont Mesa, and that's a little bit over there, kitty corner from La Mesa, right? So I found me a good little spot over there in Claremont Mesa. As far as temporary employment agency, it was People Ready, right? And I went over there, filled out the paperwork and whatnot and all that stuff there, my resume and all that, and I had actually found me a temp place to work, not a temp to hire place, but a temp place to work at Mission Beach. And I ended up working at Mission Beach the following day. Well, not the following day. Actually, I ended up working at Mission Beach the day after. After that, you know what I mean? I was looking on the app or whatnot, and found out there was some work at Mission Beach. And it was like a little resort or whatnot, that they got a little hotel resort down there, and they were setting up they needed help setting up for like a little concert venue in their courtyard part of the resort, where they do a little concert and people perform. You know, artists come down there and perform. I forgot who the artist was and stuff like that, but that's what they was doing, and I was glad enough to go over there and be a part of that, make me some money, and just help set up the chairs. I didn't see the event, but I just helped set up the chairs and stuff like that. Now at this job, I ended up meeting this youngster that was black like myself, and he was in a halfway house situation, and him and a couple other guys were working temp down here at Mission Beach with me. And this guy here, man, I'm just gonna call him Dre. But Lil Dre, man, he's from Lincoln Park, you know, and so it was just a coincidence that he was from Lincoln Park, and you know, he was part of the same struggle as far as, you know, being on paperwork and whatnot and all that stuff there. Of course, he didn't know I was on paperwork, right? And I just met him, befriended him. He was cool and stuff like that. And I had, when we get off of work, I'd drop him off and run a couple errands for him real quick, and that way he wouldn't have to ride on the metro and stuff like that, and get him somewhere close to where he could get out and walk down the block and go back to this halfway house and stuff like that. So at that moment, I wasn't really too familiar with National City and stuff like that there, and I was just, you know, happy to find someone else that looked like me, and you know what I mean, that was from the same struggle, and talking to him or whatnot like that there, man. So that was one of the first people that I had met out there, being in San Diego. Again, me and Willis was on the phone. We was talking. We was doing quite a bit of talking and staying in communication with each other and stuff like that. And yeah, man, you know, so I was just trying to find a job, right? A steady job, not no, you know what I mean, like hit or miss every now and then, which was, you know, kind of like how I started out at first with this whole Mission Beach work that I had, you know what I mean? So the next thing that I ended up doing that was good for me was I was still working with People Ready, as far as like trying to find that temp to hire type job, right? That temp to hire type job. And in the meantime, I was still like finding a good spot to like park my car and sleep and stuff like that there, man, because my car kind of had a little look to it, and I didn't want to be in certain spots in National City. So I would, a lot of times what I was doing at that moment is I was sleeping, like I would park my car somewhere in like Chula Vista. I go to Chula Vista, find a nice neighborhood, and go sleep in Chula Vista in the car and stuff like that until I figure this thing out. Every now and then I go down there around the corner from National City to U City, to University City, and over there by San Diego State, I believe it is, you know. But I go over there and shop at the Food for Less, give me some food that I can make up or whatever and stuff, man, and eat that, man, you know what I'm saying, while I'm figuring this thing out. So I had, in the meantime, between time, that's what I was doing as far as, you know, sleeping arrangements and stuff like that. And so I'm focused on getting this job, though. And I had put in for a job through People Ready, through this temp agency, that was a temp to hire at Vineyard Doors. Vineyard Doors was located close to downtown, right across the way from the San Diego Airport, International Airport. And it was off of Pacific Highway, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I had got a phone call. I had got a phone call from People Ready, and dude had told me, say, hey, listen, you know that job that you applied for with us as a temp to hire at Vineyard Doors, they actually like your resume, they want to check you out. And one thing I've always been good at, even to this day, is I punch in them resumes, man, and print it out real quick, you know what I'm saying? And it always be the jobs that I've had, I just ain't never had them that long, right? It always be the jobs that I had, I just ain't never had them that long. And I make it always look like I've been there for quite some time, whatnot, and put down like 4 or 5 jobs out of all of my total work experiences to make it look like I'm a loyal person and whatnot and all this stuff there to the work field, you know. And they eat it up every time, right? They eat it up every time, you know. Only thing I'm really lying about is the fact of how long I've been there. But as far as the work experience, I have that. I really drive forklifts. I really can get down with anything from the reach to the cherry picker to you know what I mean, the sit down gas or electric, any of that stuff, man. I really know how to operate those vehicles, right? And then just any other overall warehouse operations, I know how to do that. That's what I do. You know what I'm saying? So they see my resume at Vineyard Doors. Obviously, if you kind of, you know, check out the name there, you know, you're hearing the name Vineyard Doors. Vineyard Doors was about garage doors, and whether it be, you know, just a regular house garage door that you need, or a commercial garage door that you need, like a roll down door to protect your commercial property from any vandalism and stuff like that there. That's what Vineyard Doors was about. So I went in there to Vineyard Doors. He said, the guy from People Ready, he like, man, look, you got a job interview with Vineyard Doors. They want to see you. So he actually came with me, you know what I mean? You know, so I followed him there and whatnot. He wanted to be a part of the actual interview, you know, I guess because this was a legitimate customer that's always asking for help. But now they were at the point when I came in where they were looking for temp to hire help. You know what I mean? So I just came in at the right moment. I came at the right moment. Go in there, do the interview. This little old lady, man, had to been about 69 years old, maybe 66 years old at the time. We'll just say her name was Lisa. And then we sat in there with Lisa, man, had an interview. She loved me. And I walked out, man, feeling pretty confident after we did the interview. And, you know, I got a phone call later on that day after we did the interview. And the guy that was from People Ready that was with me, he called me back. He said, hey, listen, man, she liked you. She really liked you. But she said, man, she just don't know if she want to hire you because she feel like you too, you know, you're overqualified. She just feels like, you know what I mean, like, you know, like there's something bigger and better for you out there, man. And you know, but if she's still interested in you, would you be willing to take the job? I said, yeah, of course I would, you know. So when he said all that to me, I was just like, man, damn, man, I thought I had that in the bag, right? Later on that day, I'm thinking about what other job opportunities I need to get to, and he called me up about like 5:30 in the evening. He calls me up 5:30 in the evening, almost 6 o'clock, and he says, listen, she likes you, Lisa likes you, and she wants to know you'd be willing to start tomorrow. And I said, hey, man, of course, I was happy. I was pretty happy when I got that phone call. And I was like, of course, man, I'll be there tomorrow morning, man. That's right, man, I'll be there, And the thing about it, I think what Lisa was scared about is, like I said, my car was very, very clean. I had a whole get up where I was looking pretty clean, you know what I mean? As far as dress clothes, dress shoes, the whole nine and stuff like that there. So I didn't look the part like I was struggling for anything or whatever and stuff like that there. And I think that kind of threw her off, like, man, I don't know if this guy really want to be in my little small company, because it was a small place, you know what I mean? Vineyard Doors was like working out of a big ass garage, really, pretty much like a bunch of rolled up brand new garage doors that you had to sit down neatly and tightly within this little space, this little garage space that they had, and maneuver a forklift from time to time and stuff like that, and use the chain and all that with a little bit of help to guide it, and without putting a dent in these garage doors. So she was just like, she just was intimidated at the fact of, like, hey, this guy is bigger than my place, but if he want to work for me, then I'll definitely be glad to have him, you know what I mean? And that's what ended up happening. I ended up getting hired in, well, not hired in, but I ended up having a shot at temp to hire with this place, this company, Vineyard Doors. And I was in there, and I got familiar with her son, Lisa's son. His name was Mark, and I got real familiar with Mark, and Mark was definitely delighted to have me, you know what I mean, a part of the company or whatnot. There was other guys in there that really didn't, like the ones that actually went to go install the doors and stuff like that there, those guys, of course, I was just the material handler or whatnot, and making sure that they had the proper garage door that they needed to load up for their trucks in the morning and stuff like that. And maybe some other little stuff in between, as far as hardware and stuff like that. But other than that, I didn't know how to install those doors and nothing like that. But there was the other guy that was doing my job before I came in there, by the name of Jonathan Martinez, man. And Jonathan Martinez was a very good friend. The second person that I got close to while being in San Diego, other than Lil Dre, from Lincoln Park, that was in the halfway house. Jonathan Martinez, my co-worker at Vineyard Doors, was very much so the second friend that I made while I was there. And I'm working now. I'm pulling y'all up to speed as far as me. I got that job. I'm working. Nothing to worry about. I'm getting paid weekly. Nothing to worry about. You know what I mean? I got the ball rolling like I wanted to. By the time I ended up getting paid, not the following week, but the week after, man, I literally had, like $75 to my name or whatnot, man, and I was just thankful that I had found a job within the right time frame and all that stuff there. And like I said, I'm still communicating with Willis here and there, my homeboy Willis from Dixon that was living out here in San Diego. We still talking and stuff. He know I'm working and whatnot. And, other than that, I'm just enjoying the scene in between time, especially on my days off and stuff like that. I'm just enjoying the scene. And what that means is I started hooking up with Jonathan, my co-worker, and we started going out, man, here and there. And he got me familiar with the 420 scene. And at that time, you still needed a medical license, quote unquote. You didn't really have to have no medical issues. You just make some shit up, and a lot of these places will give you the medical card. But I didn't have the medical card. He did. So I'd have him hook me up with some weed every now and then. So I smoked some weed. The only social media site I was messing with at the time was Facebook, man. So I do some stuff on Facebook every now and then. But Instagram wasn't even a thing for me yet. But I was just trying to be really low key about everything as much as possible. So I wasn't really posting anything. But when I did post something, it was me and him at the dispensary, man. Just got some flight, just got some good stuff there, man. Some OG, and was blowing on that and whatnot. So this story goes for about 3 months, man. Of course, because that's all I had. It's time for 3 months to do what I need to do. And in the first month of me being there, like I said, I pretty much just was trying to solidify the job thing, which I did within 7 days before a week, and then just kind of trying to find some friends and get familiar with this whole 420 thing, man, because I was really interested in the weed, man. And I had some ideas as to if I can get my hands on some weed or a plug on this weed, that's gonna take me a long ways, man, and that's something that I could take back with me. But I hadn't quite figured it out in my head as to what I was gonna do and how I was gonna do it. So what happened moving forward, I was contemplating on getting a second job, right? I was contemplating on getting a second job, and about 45 days of me being in San Diego, before I had got the second job, me and Willis had decided to finally meet up with each other. I had been there about 45 days, and we finally had decided to meet up with each other. Where did we end up meeting up at? We ended up meeting up downtown San Diego at the Symphony Tower. The homie Willis, man, had a membership. Him and his wife had a membership at the Symphony Tower. Every major city has like that place that you can go to. Like in Chicago, they got the Willis Tower and a couple other places where you can go to. And if you got a membership, you can go up there and enjoy the best, wine and dine type of situation. And, just overlook the city, have good conversations with whoever it is, business or just friends. And like I say, just overlook the city and have a good meal, have some drinks and stuff like that, man, and do what you do. So this was the spot that me and Willis had ended up meeting at downtown San Diego at the Symphony Tower, right? So I go in there, and I thought, we were just gonna go in there and talk, and we hadn't seen each other since we had last seen each other in Chicago and Rockford when I had made the song, the couple of songs Hard Work and made this song Hard Work, and then we made the other song Celebrate. You hear that? Yeah. So we made those two songs, and then that was the last time I had really seen it. You know what I'm saying? I had been, like I said, in San Diego for about 45 days, and we finally decided to meet up, and we met at the Symphony Tower. We go up there, man. Well, he's already up there. I park. I end up going up there. I meet up with him. He's sitting in there, man. You know what I mean? Looking like he always look. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is just silky. Silky dude. He ain't never been like a hustler. You know what I'm saying? He's always been like a different type of dude when it comes to hustling. Like he got the gift of gab, and he gonna figure out how to talk to the right people and figure out how he can get their money and make certain things happen. I'm just keeping it real. That's his thing. He ain't never been like a hustler. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyways, we up there. And we talking, we eating steaks and stuff like that there, drinking Dom Perignon, you know what I mean, Hennessy, the whole nine, just drinking, right? He doing it a little bit more than I am, and I'm not really big on this drinking shit, man, and I end up fucking drinking with him a little bit more than what I should have, right? Long story short, I ended up getting fucked up, right? I ended up getting fucked up. And when I tell y'all I was fucked up, I mean I was fucked up, right? I mean so bad that I was fucked up. I went into the bathroom, had to go take a piss real quick. And not only did I have to take a piss, but I had to throw up too, right? I had to throw up. That's when I knew I was fucked up. That's that moment when I knew I was fucked up. All right, now, but before we went into that bathroom, and this is like a few hours of us already being up there kicking it and stuff, man. I think it was about 6:30 when I got there. It was about 6:30 when I got there, almost 7. And by the time 10 o'clock got there, by the time 10 o'clock came, not only was I fucked up, but his wife had showed up. Willis's wife had showed up. And when his wife showed up, let me tell y'all something. When his wife showed up, she came in there. I do remember this part. I remember throwing up. I remember when his wife came in there before I threw up, and made it to the bathroom. His wife came in there, and she was like, "What the hell are you doing?" I guess his phone had been blowing up, and he hadn't been answering it like he's supposed to or whatnot. So she came up there, because obviously he told her where he was at. And she came in there and she was stormed in there. And she like, man, this what you doing with my money? You know, this and that, whatever, right? And she like, man, you know, like you couldn't come home, whatever. He trying to explain to her that, hey, this is my friend here from Dixon, you know what I'm saying, back in Illinois. I was just trying to catch up with him or whatnot, you know what I'm saying? So she wasn't trying to hear all that because he just kept denying the phone call or whatnot, and she was mad as fuck at him, right? So this was what we was both trying to avoid, you know, me getting in the way of his family and stuff like that, and his wife. So I just remember that part. I remember going into the bathroom, had to take a piss, and I threw up. I also remember leaving my phone, setting my phone down in the bathroom somewhere when I took this piss and I had to throw up, and I didn't pick my phone back up. We get downstairs, we go to the parking lot. Him and his wife are arguing all the way down from the elevators down to the first floor there, the ground level and stuff, to the parking lot. The police end up coming, right? The police end up coming, you know, you got the people that's circling the parking lot and stuff, and they trying to figure out what's going on. And making sure people are getting home safely and whatnot and all that, no commotion outside. Well, this was that type of police that pulled up. And when they pulled up, let me tell you something. I remember this part too. My homie was telling me, Willis was telling me like, hey man, hey Black, get yourself together. Cause I was leaning on my car. Man. I was fucked up, right? And he was telling me to get myself together. Not only was I leaning on my car, I was still throwing up, right? And him and his wife arguing and shit, man. And the police like, is he okay? You know, and he like, yeah, he you know, he ain't gonna be driving. He okay, I got him. You know what I'm saying? This and that. Now the homie did, after they got through, the police left us alone, all this stuff there. He ended up leaving his car to take my car and drive me to his place, right? He drove me to his place, and you know, when we got to his place, that's all I remember. We got to his place. I woke up. I was in my car, fell asleep, passed out, and I was late for work. About an hour late for work. You know what I mean? About an hour late for work, and you know, didn't have no cell phone. I had to figure that shit out. Had to figure out how to get my ass with no GPS. You know, and this stuff that goes on sometimes in people's life where they don't know where the fuck they at unless they got GPS. And that was that moment for me where I didn't know where the fuck I was at and how I was gonna get there. But I need to hurry up and get there and get my ass to work because I was an hour late. I couldn't call them, let them know I was late, none of that shit. So I ended up pulling up, finding my way to work. I had to stop at a gas station. I drove all the way from out in La Jolla. He stayed out in La Jolla, in Del Mar area. So I drove all the way from from the north side, way up north side of San Diego County to make my ass down there to you know, south to San Diego. In downtown San Diego and stuff, you know what I mean? So I stopped at one gas station. I found my way down there, right? You know, grace of God, I don't know, but I found my way down there, right? So I get to work, patch everything up, let them know I had a rough night last night, the night before, whatnot, it won't happen again, and you know, hey, you know, that's what it was. So that was the first time I met up with the homie, and I ended up getting the phone later on that day. Had to go to Metro. I ended up getting a 619 phone number, area code down in National City or whatnot. And, you know, so ended up getting me a 619 area code phone, new phone, and made it happen like that. I called my brother up to let him know because he was the one that had my phone plan. Remember, my brother had got my phone for me when I came home in 2014. He had been paying my phone bill. Now, since I lost my phone and all this stuff there and I had to do all this, I ended up paying for that phone bill and ended up getting a new phone. You know what I mean? So, you know, everything works the way it needs to work, you know what I mean, as far as life goes. And it was about time for me to start doing my own stuff anyway. So I ended up getting my own phone and everything, 619 area code. So, got back on the phone with Willis and got back in touch with him, let him know, hey man, look, I got a new phone, this and that. But what that was about last night, man, he left me in the car, man. What that's about? He like, Black, I tried to wake you up and all that stuff there, man, or whatever. You know, I had stuff going on with my wife, man. I just wanted to make sure you were safe. Okay. I still feel some type of way about that, but you know, okay. All right. I ended up meeting up with Willis again another time later on down the road. At this point, I had got me another job. I got me a job in La Mesa at BJ's, and I started working vineyard doors Monday through Friday, and a little bit of BJ's in La Mesa on the weekends, particularly on the weekends, because the weekends I had Saturday, Sunday off, and then I was doing a little bit during the week, like maybe a Wednesday. So I had like three days, maybe 3.5 days scheduled with BJ's, but definitely on the weekends. And what happened was I was just doing dishwasher work at BJ's in La Mesa, and it was cool because I could get some free food over there when it came lunchtime and stuff like that. There, what I had been doing all throughout the flick, what I had been doing was I would go a week. Where I was in my car, sleeping at Chula Vista or whatever in my car and stuff like that. All right, pardon the interruption. I just wanted to get this part right as well. As far as my get down on a week-to-week basis, I get paid, I'll go to San Ysidro. I'll go to San Ysidro, get me a good night's sleep in a hotel. It'd either be the Motel 6 and the Best Western down there in San Ysidro, because it was less costly down there in San Ysidro to get a hotel, or just living house or apartment down there. It was just less costly in San Ysidro, being by the border. So that's what I would do. I would go over there when I got my hotel situation together during the end of the week or whatnot, and crease up my clothes, get them ready, iron out some of my clothes and whatnot. I'd wash my clothes when it was time for me to go to the laundromat or whatever, before I went to the hotel. I washed my clothes over there in University City, over there by San Diego State. And the Planet Fitness I went to on a regular to work out and take a shower or whatnot was in University. It was in University City, and the laundromat was right next door. So I'd go over there and do my laundry before I went to the hotel, like a day or two before I went to the hotel, get everything together, so that way I still looked the part, as far as had my shit together, not crinkled up and whatnot, just looking clean, man. And Food for Less was in that area as well. The Food for Less, I give me some food from Food for Less, and then certain nights I eat out, but yeah, man, Food for Less, the laundromat, and Planet Fitness was all right there in University City. So that's where I was at, man, when it came to taking care of my business in that sense right there. And then at the end of the week, I'll go down to San Ysidro in Best Western or the Motel 6 right next door to Tijuana right there. So that was kind of my get down right there. Just wanted to clean it up and get that right, so y'all are on track with the story and everything like that, just in case I have to tell this again. The other time that we met up, like I said, we was down there at Motel 6 in San Ysidro. But also, man, we ended up going to LA. We drove to LA, and we drove to LA to handle some business on his account, where, again, I told you he had the gift of gab, man, and he loved like getting in those circles where he knew somebody from his talking, and then just try to negotiate a deal type stuff and get the money in between all of that stuff there. And so we went out to Beverly Hills, man, West LA, over there off of Wilshire and something, I forgot what it was, but it was the Four Seasons. And this is when we went over there, and he was just trying to sell a luxury car, get a good price on a luxury car. Somebody he knew they had a luxury car they needed to get rid of, and he was just trying to get a little bit off the top for making a deal. You know what I mean? And first time I had ever seen a Bentley, man. First time I had ever seen a Bentley, North Carolina blue. The first time I had ever been in a Bentley, man. The thing about those cars is, man, when they get to like 5,000 miles and stuff like that, man, like apparently nobody wants them like that after that point. 5,000 miles, 9 years old and stuff like that or whatever, people don't want them no more. So he was trying to sell them. He's trying to sell that. And so it was my first time seeing this. Him and his other homeboy out there by the name of John or Johnny or whatever, you know what I'm saying, was out there with us, man. And that's when I had came up with later down the road. This is 2016 when I went out there, but what that is, a year later, I ended up getting a little 360 record deal. I had made this song right here, man. She's Fine.
Seasons, Beverly Hills, Rodeo Drive.
And this song was talking about that incident
so much
right there.
game written in her eyes.
That
I just keep back
right
with the
there in
homeboys. Took
Beverly
another
Hills,
shot
man,
of
West
that
LA.
XO. That's
We was just sitting in there,
maybe. Real
buying
players
time
don't count the
until we
change.
actually met
We
up with the
dudes that
buyers,
jumped
the
out
people
the
that were
range, and I
interested
see you
in
playing
buying
that
this.
old cat,
And
that
they was from
businessman,
Illinois,
that
you know, they
old
was from
hat.
Chicago.
Yeah, I'm entertained by this girl now.
So yeah, man. But anyways, I met up with Willis in that event, and then like the third other time that we really linked up, again was down there in San Ysidro, and he had this idea, man, of us going to cross the border of Tijuana at 3 a.m. in the morning. And we had this idea, well, he had this idea of crossing Tijuana at 3 a.m. in the morning, the little walking border part of it. And we walked in there with 3 paisanos, man, and the security was looking at us. And for whatever reason, man, we shouldn't have went, but we was light, the crowd wasn't that heavy. And then they end up telling us, man, if y'all ain't got no paperwork to be crossing, come in this room right here. We end up sitting in this room. I'm on parole. I'm not even supposed to be over here. So when they put us in this real room, I was nervous as a motherfucker. Like, what the fuck is going on, man? Like, damn, man, this the way this shit gotta go? Now, the homie laughing because he know how this shit gonna play out. He know that they ain't finna do nothing but either let us pass through or they gonna tell us to get our ass back on the other side and get back towards San Diego in the States and stay on that side, you know. Meanwhile, in between time, these 3 other paisanos, 2 of them is just as nervous as I am, right? You know, and the third paisano, he ain't speaking no English, and he telling his boys, no Inglés, man. Shut the fuck up, right? You know what I'm saying? Don't fucking panic. It's gonna be okay. You know what I'm saying? Just stop speaking in English, right? So I'm kind of laughing at that, you know what I'm saying? That was kind of funny, you know what I'm saying? But, and I'm just pacing. I ain't even talking. I'm just pacing and listening to these other motherfuckers, and I'm looking at Willis every now and then. I go looking at him like, man, hey, man, what you think, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I ain't supposed to be over here. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I just remember him saying, like, Black, don't trip. You know, he was just like, Black, don't trip, you know? So, hour or something go by, and eventually they let us out the room, man. They keep the 1 paisano in that room, man. They was telling them other 2 paisanos not to talk in English. They kept him in the room. Eventually, he ended up walking through. You know what I mean? I don't know if he knew some people that knew some people or whatever, but they let him through, and they informed us not to come back over this side unless you got the proper paperwork and stuff like that. And I was cool with that, and I got the fuck up out of there and got my ass back over here at this Motel 6, and man, told Willis, hey man, you know what I'm saying, have a good night, homie, you know what I'm saying, you know, I'm cool, you know what I'm saying. So, you know, that was one of them little funny events that happened while I was over there. And but what I'm trying to say is, you know, those are the times that me and Willis have met up, other than the fact when it was time for me. The last time we met up was when it was time for me to get the hell out of there and stuff like that, and go back home and check in my parole and all that, you know. So I was working. I'm gonna tell y'all where my get up was and how I was doing this. So I was working. I was sleeping in Chula Vista. I had actually found a better, like a real spot in Chula Vista where I was actually for sure going at this point, and that was up on Medical Center, Upper Medical Center Court, up there in that area, at the hospital up there. And I was sleeping in the hospital parking lot inside my car, man. And I finally found a spot where I was totally comfortable with pulling in there, and I pull in there, man, and it just be me. It just be me, man. You know what I'm saying? Up there in the hospital parking lot, and you know, I pull in there and sleep. You know, some nights with me working 2 jobs, especially working at BJ's on the weekend, or even during the week, more so during the week, you know, and I was still working at Vineyard Doors. You know, like I had maybe about an hour or 2 sleep. Not even that. Sometimes I wouldn't even have nothing but 30, 45 minutes worth of sleep, you know, but by the time I got out of BJ's and got to cleaning up and everything like that there, you know, and go right back over to the other job. And it was taking a toll on me. I was working 2 jobs. I was living, you know, out my car, do the hotel once or twice a week, you know what I mean? And it was just taking a toll on me, man. I got a lot of energy still to this day. But, you know what I mean? Like, I was wearing myself thin with them 2 jobs, man, and everything. And, you know, I wasn't doing nothing but just having a good time, My son's birthday had came. I sent a couple of dollars to his mom to give to him, and let her know that I was out there. You know, my brother knew I was out there in San Diego. His mom, now my son's mom knew I was out there in San Diego and stuff like that. So I was doing, you know, all of that. And those are the two people that knew. My grandmother didn't know just yet. I let my sister know. You know, sometimes I was getting a little lonely, so I talked to my sister. And that was really all I was in communication with, other than Johnny, my co-worker. And then every now and then I was still talking to Lil Dre, you know. And so I'm gonna get it rolling now to where I'm really trying to go. So remember, I had the idea about the weed, right? I had the idea about the weed and what I really wanted to do. So there was this little spot that I go to in National City by the name. It was a park. You know, y'all see me now. I'm always at the park. I like to be outside, and you know, that's just what my whole get up is about with Go Power and Black Don't Stop. Is I like to be outside. But I remember, you know, being in National City. And my favorite park in National City. Pardon the interruption. I just wanted to chime in real quick, man, make sure I get this story right, man, because I was moving kind of fast the other day when I did this, man. So what I wanted to get right was the name of the park in National City that I was, you know, always parking at, and it kind of like my office or whatnot, was El Toyon Park. El Toyon Park off of Euclid Avenue. You know what I mean? And I used to park on 2nd Street right off of Euclid Avenue, man. But it was that El Toyon Park in National City. Just wanted to get that right. El Toyon Park in National City was not only my go-to spot, like as far as, you know, just being outside with it and everything, man, but that was my spot. That was my office. That was my, you know, place of peace right there, man. And I just wanted to get my thoughts. El Toyon Park, National City. In between me thinking like that, I'm getting frustrated with my job. 2 jobs. I'm getting frustrated. I got 2 goddamn jobs, and I'm not even working the way that I used to for Vineyard Doors at this point. Meaning, I'm not being as cautious with the garage doors no more. Brand new garage doors that's being shipped over here and is in my care, in my watch, and I gotta handle this stuff. You know what I mean? And it's getting to the point where I'm putting little dents in these garage doors and stuff like that. I'm being a little careless, and they can see this. They got cameras in this building, in this little garage space that I'm working at Vineyard Doors. They got cameras, and they can also see it on my face physically with their own eyes. The owner, Lisa, her son, Mark, was starting to see this. And he actually caught me at one point where I was cussing and talking to myself, you know, getting pissed off about my job. You know, you all have that moment where you get a little pissed off and frustrated with the job and you think nobody's watching, you know, and somebody might pull up on you or whatnot, or they actually got a camera and they see this, you know what I mean? Well, that's what happened to me. Mark ended up seeing this shit, and he even asked me one time, a little bit after seeing this stuff, he said, you know, Manny, are you okay? It seemed like, you know, he said things going all right with the other job. He said it seems like, you know, things are taking a toll on you or whatnot. I was just checking on you, you know. And I try to straighten up and let them know, like, hey, yeah, I'm okay, I got this, you know, everything's all good, man, you know. Working less hours at the job, no need to worry and stuff like that there. I get back on track. So what happened was, like, I think 2 days after that conversation, I ended up coming in for work, my regular scheduled time, which was 7:30 to no, it was 8 to 4:30, right? And I ended up coming in my regular scheduled time that morning, 2 days later after that conversation, and he looked at me, Mark looked at me, he's like, hey, you know, Manny, can you tell me why you here? And I looked at him like, what you mean? I know for sure it's a weekday, so I'm like, what you mean why I'm here? He said, you didn't get the phone call from anybody yesterday? And I said, no, I didn't get that phone call. Tell me what's going on. And Mark was like, listen, man, I know you've been working 2 jobs and everything like that there, man, and you know, I can see that you kind of got, you know, you got a lot of stuff going on, and you know, personally, you're just not working the same like how you used to, man. You know, you've been a little bit careless with the garage doors and whatnot, and you know, I just felt like it was necessary to just go ahead and let you go. So I looked at him, I'm like, Mark, I'm like, what? I'm like, man, I'm like, you finna let me go? That's what you telling me? I'm fired? He like, yeah, man. So, you know, I was pissed off, right? I was pissed off because I'm like, one, I'm pissed off because I know he right. He right? In my head, I know he right. But in that moment, I'm like, this ain't supposed to happen. At least I'm the one that's supposed to say, I don't want to work here no more. That's the way it always goes, right? I'm the one that's supposed to say I don't want to work here. But Mark had pulled the trigger before I pulled the trigger and whatnot. And I never intended to be there that long anyways. You know what I mean? Like I was literally on my going on my second to third month. You know what I mean? So I only had one more month left anyways, man. I was getting beat up being there, you know? So Mark told me to my face. He's like, man, you know, just felt like it was in our best interest to let you go. So I cussed him out. I ain't gonna lie. I cussed him out. I was mad because he pulled the trigger before I could. You know what I mean? I said, man, that's some bullshit, man. I said, man, I just remember telling him, like, man, that's some bullshit, man. You know, the fuck is going on? You could have been letting me know this shit. You know what I'm saying? You know? And so I was mad. And I just had to at least get that part off to make me feel good or whatnot. You know what I mean? But they was right. You know what I mean? In hindsight, they was right. In that moment, they was right. I knew this. But, you know, I like to do things my way and on my time. You know, and he did it before I could do it. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, I got fired from that job. And like I said, my whole thing now is I'm really running short on time, you know? And, you know, so I remember at this point also, man, JD Byrider was trying to contact me on my phone. This was before I got the 619 phone number. But I remember, not at this time, but a little bit before that, they was trying to, just to let y'all know what was going on with this car thing, right? They had contacted me on a voice message. You know, I wasn't picking up the phone, like, hey, yeah, I took the tracker off the car and all that stuff there, whatever, and yeah, I'm not paying y'all no more, y'all shit out of luck. You know, they left me a message. And all I remember on that message was the guy was cussing because he couldn't get a hold of me. And, you know what I mean? He was just cussing, going crazy. He's just like, what the fuck? God damn it. You know what I'm saying? Fuck, answer the phone. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that to say this. Like, I didn't want that car for a lot of different reasons. And I felt like the car was the only way that I could, you know, make this maneuver for this weed that I wanted, you know, and the actual plug that I wanted for this marijuana. So time was getting short. And I just started making these phone calls more and more through the weed maps that I was finding for the dispensary, and just trying to find somebody, especially more, you know, particularly I was trying to find weed dispensary delivery weed dispensary places that deliver weed, and getting them a car, letting them have my car as a delivery car. You know what I mean? Even though I didn't have the title to this car, the plates and the tags were still good for a whole nother year, late into the October of 2017. So I was just like, man, you know, like somebody gonna want this car, man, you know, and all I really want for it is some weed for this car. I don't want no money, I want weed, you know what I mean? And I'm finna go back to Illinois with a plug and all this stuff here and make this shit happen with selling weed. That was what I was on at that moment, right? So the name of the park in National City that I was, you know, always parking at, and kind of like my office or whatnot, was El Toyon Park. El Toyon Park in National City was my office. I found a place, a group of guys that were interested in my car, but in the meantime, I had still put my car on Craigslist, because like, if I can't get the weed, I'm gonna sell this motherfucker and get some money for it and just go on back and restart, give me a whole nother car, whatnot. So I had a couple motherfuckers that was interested in my car off of Craigslist, and I remember getting in the car with this one white guy, man. He was trying to buy my car for his son, and he's like, man, we riding down Imperial and stuff like that, the freeways and stuff, and just trying to, you know, let him get a feel for my car. And I remember, same question everyone was always asking me was, license, I mean, not license, but the title, is the title good? And I was like, man, I ain't got the title. And every moment that I tell people that I ain't got the title, a lot of them be like, man, well, I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? This guy was like, man, look, I like this car. He's a white guy. He was like, man, I like this car, but you ain't got the title. So, but I like this car, right? And he kind of had me nervous. His vibe kind of felt like cop-ish a little bit. And I remember riding with him in the passenger seat of my own car. And I'm like, hey, man, because he was acting kind of cop-ish. And I was just like, man, look, man, you know, you ain't the police, are you, man? Like, you know, he like, at this point, you know ain't no title, so why you keep asking questions about this car? Either you want it or you don't. He like, man, Black, I'm not the police, man. I'm not the police, I promise you, man. You know, so that was kind of funny when that shit had happened, you know what I'm saying? But long story short, I never ended up selling the car to anybody off of that Craigslist thing because they just was too inquisitive about this title situation. And so I knew that wasn't gonna work. So the only option I really had at this point was the weed people, you know what I mean? Weed dispensary, a delivery, specifically a weed delivery dispensary, you know what I mean? So that's what I end up doing. Right? End up hooking with these guys that were from Oceanside. And they had a delivery dispensary, no actual, you know what I mean, brick and mortar, just straight delivery dispensary. When they heard about me selling this car right here, they heard about me selling this car, they were very much interested. And all they wanted to do was meet up to make sure this car was what it really was, on the pictures and stuff. And then, you know, we can make a transaction, we can make a deal. Now, in my head, you know, honestly, I didn't have no title, you know, and I just wanted a connection. So in my head, I'm like, hey, look, I get a pound of weed, you know what I mean? I'm cool. Give me a pound of weed. And then also, let's find a way to keep this thing going. And in my head, I'm gonna get my money back in some, you know what I mean? So I know a lot of y'all thinking like, just a pound of weed for that car? Yeah, a pound of weed for that car. At the time, man, that number, that type of weed, you know, wasn't what it is right now. You know what I mean? As accessible as it is right now. So I was definitely thinking I'm gonna run a number and get the people onto this right here back in Illinois. When I get back to Illinois, and I'm gonna be able to make some things happen and continue to make things happen with you guys once you put me on at one time. You know what I'm saying? But I need a pound for this car. So everything was, you know what I mean? Everything was lined up for us to meet up. These guys right out Oceanside. We met up in Escondido, and you know what I'm saying? We ended up making the deal. We made the deal. You know, they liked it. They had brought the weed with them and everything. You know, I remember when they dropped me off with that weed at Jonathan's house, my coworker. You know what I'm saying? They dropped me off over at his spot, and I had that weed, gave it to Jonathan, and I just remember like, damn, this shit real. Like, I just got rid of my car. No more of this 2005 Bonneville shit. This car is gone. It's out of there, right? And now I got to go back to Illinois, got to check in my parole agent, and you know, I got to figure this shit out, you know. And I remember that was my first night that I had got on Instagram. I had got on Instagram, and at that time my Instagram was king.real, and I had made a post about, you know, with the Dr. Dre beat, Little Ghetto Boy in the background, and I was trying to figure out which way I was going with my life. And that was my first post on Instagram, and it was a surreal moment for me, man, because it's like I just served 9 years and 5 months, and now here I am, about to possibly go backwards. You know what I mean? With not selling dope, but selling weed. You know, that was my first post on Instagram, and you know, I ended up dropping the weed off to John Martinez, my coworker at Vineyard Doors. We were still cool, even though I had got fired, and you know, I ended up catching the bus, go downtown. Okay, pardon the interruption. This is the last time for the interruption right here, where I have to set this straight. Towards the end of the story right here, I headed downtown before I got out and left on a plane from the San Diego International Airport. But I didn't go to the airport. I went to Symphony Tower and met my homeboy from Dixon that was residing in San Diego at this point of the story. I met him at the Symphony Tower one last time, and this time I wasn't drunk. This time, you know what I mean, we was both focused on just having a good conversation. We hung out there for a little bit. Didn't have no drinks or nothing like that there. And then we got out of there and took a ride to La Jolla, Del Mar area, around the beach and stuff, La Jolla Beach, and just kind of talked about what was going on moving forward with us and stuff, you know what I mean? So, and then he dropped me off at like 5 a.m. At San Diego International Airport. So I had rode the bus downtown to meet up with Willis, aka Suge, down there at the Symphony Tower one last time. So I just wanted to get that part right. Again, just in case I might have to tell this story again. Fuck back out towards La Jolla to the beach and just talking one last little time or whatnot. He was actually kind of happy that I was getting the hell up out of there at that time when it was time for me to go. And I just remember talking to him and knowing that when I get back to Illinois, I'm gonna be a whole different mindset. I'm gonna be a whole different dude. And he just knew that I had to hook up on the weed, and he was kind of trying to figure out again how to why you didn't come to me, and I could hook things up, right? But at this point, our friendship was kind of fading because I was starting to see he a grown man. It was about me being left in the car that night that I was drunk as hell off my ass and shit like that there, but also it's just the fact of he grown, he got to do what he got to do, and I'm grown and I got to do what I got to do. And I was just kind of at that moment that me and him were talking, which was the last time that I seen him with my own eyes, other than on the phone after this point. At that moment, I knew me and him got to go separate ways. I got to figure this shit out myself, And like I said, we went way out to his neck of the woods, La Jolla, Del Mar, walked by the beach or whatever and stuff like that, was talking. And then the next day, which was wee hours in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, he got me back to San Diego International Airport. I had to check in at my flight at 7 o'clock or whatever. He got me over there, and I checked in and stuff like that. And like I said, that's the last time I seen him. And I was headed back to Illinois with a different mindset, and this is the moment in my life where I had seen enough of California to understand, hell yeah, I'm coming back. I'll be back. I wanted to stay. I was on the verge of staying, but there was just still too much for me to figure out for me to stay, So I was being pulled from Illinois is home, got my son, on parole, I was just at a tug of war, and all I could do at this moment, way before I sold the car and anything like that there, was put it in my head I do gotta go back. So in my mind, it was how I'm going back. And I'm going back with, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do it my way this time. Fuck all this job shit, fuck all that shit. I'm gonna do it my way. And that's what was in my head. I'm going back to Illinois, but I'm going back my way. Fast black. I'm going back to fast black at this point. I'm black don't stop right now. But at that time in 2016, my visit San Diego, I was going back to fast black. So that's it. That's all I got. That's my story right there, and that's where I'm ending it at.
All I
It's
got
time.
is me. Fire up
It's
a
time.
beat. I can't take another L by the A, not
Get up
the
out of
C.
here.
Black, that's just who I am.
Time for
Black,
y'all.
that's my favorite color. Black, get
Go
the
live y'all
misconception. 9/10 is still possession.
And,
All I got is me. Fire up a beat. I can't
Black
take
don't stop.
another L by
And
the A,
again,
not the C. Black,
any of y'all
that's
that's
just who I
following me
am.
back
Black,
home,
that's my favorite color.
or that's
Black,
looking at
get
this
the
right now,
misconception. 9/10 is
I'm
still
speaking
possession.
directly to
Black
you.
just want the presidents, not a black president. I still love Barack, Illinois, and the South
subscribe.
Side. But I got a fin for me. Black,
You
we
know,
gon' always win. We moving like LeBron
you know,
James.
hit the
That's the
like
way
button.
the world changes. Southern
Whatever.
Cal, of course, I love
Ain't no
it.
sense in
Let's
watching
be the
me.
number 8. Listening to Brandy, but I still like to rap a lot. Now everybody
really don't
loves
fuck
rap,
with
but still, do you love black? How do you look in
That's
the
what
mirror,
keeps back
knowing
home
that
at the
you
crib.
two-faced? You can't see your true
Other
face.
than
I
that,
pray for these little kids.
hey
Why you
man,
got
for the
these
ones that
racist
is
parents?
watching
I'm
me, the
shopping
ones
in
that
the
is
store.
following me,
I hear
the ones that
five-finger
getting something out of
discount.
me
Black,
sharing my
let me
story
tell
and
you
stuff like that,
something.
yeah, man.
Ignorance ain't one color.
love y'all,
That's the
man.
shit I
I
tell
love y'all,
myself
man.
before I snap
And
with
this right
being
here
black. I'm trying to take it easy, bro.
new
But I
music.
don't trust Jerry Heller, and I don't like
You know what I'm
selling
saying?
dope,
I'm working
and I
on
don't
this
like
Go
being
Power
broke.
album
If you don't like me off the
that
boat,
you'll be
for the
hearing
shit I
about
ever wrote,
these
for the
type
shit I
segments.
ever
Me
spoke.
telling
All
my
I got is me.
personal life
Fire
story
up a beat. I
and
can't
previous
take
work
another
experience.
L by the A, not the
This type of
C.
stuff you're gonna be
Black,
hearing.
that's just who I
This right
am.
here,
Black, that's my favorite color.
Black.
Black, get the misconception.
Name of the song
9/10
is
is still
Black.
possession. All I got is me. Fire up a beat. I can't
Fire up
take
a
another
beat.
L by the A, not the C. Black, that's just who I am.
can't
Black,
take
that's my
another L
favorite
by
color.
the A,
Black,
not
get
the
the
C.
misconception. 9/10 is still possession.
Yeah. Holla at y'all, man. Y'all be cool out there, man. All right? We gone.